So you can hear me, right? Okay. All right. So good morning, everyone. I saw some familiar name that I saw you guys probably 2 weeks ago in the visa seminar, right? So maybe some of the information actually is a little bit like duplicate or same as what I've been went through last 2 weeks ago, but there will be some like new information that I'm going to cover today. So again, I'm Sandra Chen, the marketing manager for TMUIC, part of like Nevertheless family. So today I will cover a few new programs, but the key will be the hospitality and tourism management. So I will just quickly go through some background information about TMU. So we used to call like Ryerson University. I'm sure most of the counselor know about it. And now we're not a new university. So we have over 75 years teaching experience. And then we are a real Canadian university. We only got less than 10% international students. So if any Taiwanese students come over and study at TMU, they will enjoy like the true Canadian learning experience. They will have a lot of chances to mingle with like local students. And actually, TMU program is very practical. And they have a lot of choices in terms of the program variety. So they have 60 plus undergraduate program available with 60 minors. So last time I gave you some examples, say some of our students, they pick international economics and finance as their major, and then they tag along accounting as their minor, so which can speed up their pathway into CFA and CPA. Some of our students are doing business management, and then they're also interested in doing design. So they pick communication design, or some pick language as their minor as well. So students they can tailor make their degree based on their career goal and interest. So this is another good thing of TMU. It's very flexible. And 95% of the program is designed with experiential learning or hands-on learning. So no matter is internship, co-op, or something about startup, and most of students who engage in internship and co-op, they will have a higher chance to get a job because the employer already knows you, so they're more confident to offer you a permanent job. So actually, it is a very new partnership under Nevertheless. So we started a partnership with TMU back in 2021, so September. But at the moment, we have already accumulated over 700 students, and we have 6 UTP Stage 2 program. And then students can articulate into 3 major schools at TMU, including business school, creative school, and art school. So one of the key selling points for TMU, besides those practical components and the flexibility of the curriculum, is our location. So we always emphasize we are at the downtown Toronto, at the heart of downtown Toronto. So TMU, as the same as FIC and SFU, we have the same model with TMU. So we are sharing campus with TMU. And then TMU is an urban campus, so we don't have a fixed campus area in downtown Toronto. We mix with this community. So within walking distance, around like 5 minutes to 20 minutes, they can access to financial district, major shopping area, any sports or recreation facilities. If they like NBA, or they like baseball, or they like ice hockey, everything is within walking distance. So it's very convenient. We never hear students they will get lost when they study at TMUIC. And then they don't have to worry about grocery shopping, where to get like trains or whatever. So, because our train station actually is connected with TMUIC campus, which is TMU language center as well. Toronto is a hub for everything. So when you talk about Toronto, we always mention about this is the largest city in Canada, and also about the workforce. From the last seminar, I know that many students now considering maybe getting post-study work visa, or maybe considering getting PR after they complete the degree in Canada. I think it's a good choice to pick Toronto, because in terms of the workforce, we're the largest in Canada. And then we are the 3rd largest in North America as well. So I always emphasize the job prospect and the exposure during your time or upon graduations at TMU. Is not just limited to Toronto or Canada. It's all across in North America, because we're so close to New York and Chicago. And then actually Toronto accommodates thousands corporations. I would say 40%. Almost 40% Canadian business, their headquarters is in Toronto. So here, just to give you some example, say the top 5 Canadian bank, insurance company, some hotel chain, MBA, some big fashion brand, Louis Vuitton, manufacturing company, tech company, and a lot of media company. Their headquarters or district office is located at downtown Toronto, which is just next door of TMU campus. So of course, we have the advantage to be so close to these corporations and organizations, and they also come to TMU from time to time. So every single faculty, they will connect with this industry. They will invite them over to attend different like career fair, recruitment fair, information sessions, or some sharing session with our current and alumni, current students and alumni. So to give them like first-hand information about the job market, or summer internship or co-op, etc. I'm not sure whether it's like popular in Taiwan, but many South Asian country students, they have a lot of like business like ideas they want to make come true. So they also find like the entrepreneurship and strong learning component at TMU is very unique. So if students have already got some business like ideas or already draft their business plan, they can bring it along to the zone. Depends on like the area of interest of the business plans is about. Maybe it's about fashion, maybe it's about biomedical or digital media. So they can come along to the zone and show the guys like, or show the team your business idea. So if the team think that that's a potential plan, so they will help you to connect with expertise from the industry, help you to fine tune your plan, fine tune your ideas, and then you will get experience from there because you talk to people from the industry and then build your resume, and even you will get like real funding to run your business. So some of the students actually, before they graduate, they become a founder of their own company. So maybe you say, oh, Taiwanese students are very shy, they're very passive, not that proactive, so they don't get a chance to involve. No, not just like setting up your own business and you can approach the zone. From time to time, they run different kind of workshop. Like iBoost is something about like tech based. So recently they do something open to every single students at TMU. So you can just go in and do a competition with like strangers from other faculty, and then end up you may get some experience to learn more about that area. Probably will be outside your outside your curriculum. Maybe you're in business like management, you can go to biomedical zone or fashion zone and learn something that you're interested. So so there will be many different activities that you can join, not just like set up your own company. So the new thing for TMUIC is we have some updates on GPA requirement. Probably I share with Jennifer few months back, maybe. For the business management used to be 3.0 after UTP stage 2. So now is come down to 2.8, and psychology is 3.3 to 3.0. So after a few batch of students already progressed to TMU, they're very confident in our graduates. So that's why they feel more confident to lose the hurdle a little bit. So which is a good news for students, which means more students can meet for the requirement to progress to second year. But I would say like 95% students end up can progress to TMU from TMUIC. So we have two new programs. One program is a brand new UTP Stage 2 program in Hospitality and Tourism Management. Another one is a new pathway under our current UTP Stage 2 in Arts. So the new program that we can articulate is BA Language and Intercultural Relations. So actually, we kind of like confirmed this program a while ago, but then on hold a little bit. So I didn't do much research. But yesterday, I just got a news that, okay, we can move forward for September intake. I don't think that would be a very popular program for Taiwanese students, but just in case, I will have a 1 or 2 slides to highlight the program. And also, we will have a new EAP program, English for Academic Purpose, which can fit in students who only get IELTS 4.5. So maybe you can provide me with some feedback and see what's the English level for the recent batch of like Taiwanese students in your pipeline. Most of students I see probably they will get 5.0, 5.5, but just in case you come across any students only got 4.5, TMUIC I think probably was the only choice under NAFTA side, Canada, to offer such program. So it's kind of a pre-sessional English before the mainstream program. The start date is exactly the same as our mainstream program. So the first batch is starting in September, the fall intake. So it's a 16 weeks program, costs around 7,560. So when you look at the price, it looks a little bit pricey, but actually it's an intensive program. So students come in with 4.5 after 16 weeks, if they can achieve 65% across 4 components. So we consider them as equivalent to IELTS 6.0. So I saw a lot of like experienced counselor here. When you come across a student who is like 1.5 IELTS below than what the university require, usually we ask them to do at least 30 weeks English, but here only 16 weeks. So it's a very intensive English program. So still a full-time program, 20 hours per week. And at the end of the program, student doesn't need to take any IELTS, Duolingo, or TOEFL, just based on internal school result, 65% across like 4 components, they can progress to either stage 1 or stage 2. So here give you some like fresher on our entry points. So now we have a new entry point, which is IELTS 4.5. So 16 weeks EAP achieve 65%. They can go straight to a 12-month UTP stage 2 program or 8 months UTP stage 1 program, depends on the academic background. So if students got a 65%, it's what I say they're considered as having like IELTS 6.0, so they can come straight and do ILS, which is a integrated learning skills, which is free of charge. It's a free English component, and then they tag along the 10 courses that they have to complete on stage 2 level. So, and the other 2 paths is our current pathway, which is the integrated entry and also direct entry. So for integrated entry, students only got IELTS 5.0, which means they're not yet ready to handle a lot of academic subject. So you can see from the first block, they have to do ILC. So this program, they have to pay 3,000 something Canadian dollars. It's a full kind of like full-time English courses. And then they can tackle on 2 academic units and then 2 tutorial lessons. So these 2 tutorial lessons is what we call the integrated component, and they have to pay extra as well. And then for the second and third term, they finish another 8 units. And if the students come in with IELTS 5.5, we consider them into direct entry. So even though we say direct entry, student has to do still has to do ILC, the pay English component, and then they do the 10 courses across 3 semesters. And our recommendation is always good to leave this last semester with only 3 courses or even less, because you will get higher chances to make up any back courses or to make up extra credits, just in case your GPA is a little bit behind than what we require for progressions. So I'm sure you guys are very familiar with the pathway chart I just showed you, but just want to do a comparison between different IELTS entry points, so you can showcase to your students if you got any like doubt. So it's very straightforward. So the key idea or the key objective of today's webinar is to introduce the new UTP Stage 2 program in Hospitality and Tourism Management. I'm sure this will be a quite popular program for Taiwanese students. After the pandemic, I spoke with several hotels when I'm on the road. I reckon that there were a lot of redundancy in the last few years, and now they're starting to rebuild their team and train up new staff. So I think it's a good time to pick up this subject. So just give you some background information about TMU Hospitality and Tourism Management. We are the first program in Canada. So we're the oldest hospitality and tourism management program in Canada. And the employment rate is really high, so it's 96%. Across the board, under TMU different faculty, I would say their employment rate is 85 to 95%. But this program is like over the average, so it's 96%. Sorry. And then Tourism HR Canada also did some accreditations across different hospitality and tourism management program in Canada. And TMU program is the only and the first university on the list under the Smart Plus Premium program. So if you go on the website and do a little bit research, we are the only university on the list. The rest is the vocational college, like Centennial College. They're running some hands-on vocational program in this area. If you look for like hospitality and tourism management program in Canada, actually it's only 2 universities running this specific program. The rest maybe is running hotel management or event management, recreational management, but hospitality and tourism management, only 2 universities in Canada are running this kind of program. The program is also accredited by AACSB and then embedded with 1,000 hours work placement. So most of students will get paid job, but then I know that some students probably they work for their family, maybe as a voluntary work. As long as approved by the faculty, then that's fine. So they can go back to Taiwan, they can go to any other country to do their work placement, not just in Toronto. And then usually for Canadian university, we don't usually talk about ranking, but where we refer to the QS subject ranking last year, actually in terms of citation per paper, under the hospitality and tourism management area, TMU ranked #1 in Canada and #7 in the world. So we're not overall #1 and #7, but we are #1 and #7 in citation per paper. So when you explain to a student, I think this is very important information to elaborate a little bit. When you look at citation per paper, which means our researcher, our professor at TMU is very active in doing different kind of like studies and research and paper output in this area, in hospitality and tourism industry or management area. So which actually reflects to our curriculum, which we teach like the first-hand information, and then all this paper output has a very high inferentials to the industry. So what our students learn from the program is comply by this professor or this batch of like researcher. So they are learning the first set of information from the industry. So for Toronto, why they have to study in Toronto? Because Toronto is the #1 leading like tourism destination in Canada, because it's so big, and throughout the year there's so many like festivals and events, no matter sports, no matter it's about flame or about dancing, arts, a lot of celebrity come over for different kind of concert as well. So it actually attract a lot of domestic and international students, visitor. So whenever we promote like this kind of program, actually we have to help students to pick a city or a country which where actually tourism is happening, right? So they can have much more like exposure or work experience during their studies. And in my recent trip, when I'm on the plane, I read a magazine. So sometimes students think, oh, maybe hospitality, like hotel industry is so niche. But then when I read the magazine, I found out a lot of like big brand, big name hotel chain like Marriott, Pan Pacific, etc. Actually, they've developed a new brand to develop a service apartment business, because after the pandemic, whenever you got a chance to go on holiday, maybe you want to stay a little bit longer, and maybe you don't want to stay like a tiny hotel room. Maybe you want a proper apartment and where you can cook, where you can relax in a living room or dining room. So this is going to be a big business for this industry. So that's another job opportunity after you graduate. So here show you some videos to showcase what you can do in Toronto and why Toronto is such a popular place for visitor. Sorry, I provide some statistics first. I thought there's a video, sorry. So here show you some visitor economy statistics. Actually, like 27.5 million visitors to Toronto each year, and then they contribute a lot in terms of their spending. So they spend over 6.5 billion in Toronto. So most of them like maybe about entertainment, maybe about like food and catering, accommodation, and different kinds of event, entrance fees, and etc. And then it had a big impact on our economy as well. And then here show you some more statistics. And actually the good thing is like if the place is like booming or is very well developed in hospitality and tourism, actually it can create a lot of jobs. So the thing that I just mentioned, like a restaurant, maybe about like theater or those like stadium accommodations, they will hire a lot of people. So there's 700,000 jobs supported by visitor spending. And then every year, in every 5 years, there would be 10,000 jobs more. Recently, I read another research, probably more than that, because after the pandemic, they need to fill up more vacancy. And also there's a lot of meetings and conference running in Toronto, because there's a lot of big convention center, and it's the hub for finance and business and different kind of things. So many businessmen or visitors, they come here. It's not just for holiday or for leisure, they're coming for business. So that's why actually it also contributes to the to this industry as well. Here just to showcase some of the hotel that actually they have their premises in Toronto, no matter it's downtown Toronto or midtown Toronto. So say for Four Seasons, Shangri-La, Ritz-Carlton, Fairmont, and some boutique hotel as well. So when you look at like those big hotel chain like Four Seasons, across the whole Canada, they only got 2 hotels, and one they picked in Canada, in Toronto. And another popular Japanese hotel chain, Nobu, they're going to have a new hotel in Toronto this fall as well. Their plan was 2 years back, but because of pandemics, they postponed. So more and more hotels actually they are expanding their business in Toronto. So you can tell there's a lot of job opportunity and exposure for students if they pick to study at TMU. Here's the video.
Our ultimate day in Toronto would be to take advantage of everything.
I would definitely start off with a hearty brunch.
I would then head to Kensington Market. When I describe it to the guests that stay in our hotel, I usually say it's a really diverse area.
It is a very friendly city. Everyone greets you with a smile.
After that, it's time for shopping. So down to Queen West to get the best vintage finds in the city.
I hit the Toronto Island and spend a nice family time together, just there, rent a bike, walk around.
Sometimes we go to Distillery District for our coffee.
You can try checking out the museums.
Music, all the concerts that come to town.
Relaxing in the Hilton Toronto's outdoor pool.
And the food.
Sure, the food.
Yes.
So we're gonna hit Harvard Street.
Ossington and Dundas.
Being able to go to different restaurants and just feel like you've just traveled to Greece or just traveled to China.
Checking out different speakeasies in the city.
Getting some amazing food and then just sitting on a patio thronged with people. Like, that's what Toronto is.
So actually they have a new campaign with Hilton chain. So that's why everything is about Hilton. But just to showcase that a lot of things that you can do in Toronto. So that's why it attracts so many visitors a year. So here just give you some ideas on the career outcome of some of our graduates from TMU. They are now working in F&B or GM or in some sports clubs, taking up different positions after they graduate from the TMU Hospitality and Tourism Management Program. The program actually is when we say in the program called hospitality, which means there will be something very hands-on. So we actually have an on-site kitchen and restaurant open to the public, what we call meat dining room, or what I highlight in yellow. And then students can take an optional courses as a meat dining component, which is an on-site food and beverage component. So the programs including food procurement, maybe about like menu setting, food operation, kitchen operation, food preparations, and how to serve the guests. So it's from the scratch to the end. So it's a very hands-on component. So if any students want to know something more about F&B from the back to the front, this is a very interesting unit that students can do. So actually we went to the meat dining room, the restaurant, and see some students actually they're doing presentation on the wine. So they have to know all the ingredients, where they're from, what's about the wine history, and when we look at how to set the menu, what kind of menu we should go with this kind of wine. So they're very knowledgeable, not just like I give you some ingredient and you cook a meal for the client, not that kind of stuff. So and then I know that they actually hire a chef from outside to teach this unit. So we have a very strong industry connection, as what I showed you at the very first page with all the company. They come in all the time and speak with our students, and also sometimes they will run different kind of master classes as well. And then for this program, actually, we have advisory council. So on the left-hand side, you can see like American Express, Fairmont, Four Seasons, Marriott, Gusto 54 Restaurant Group is a local brand. It's a very popular and a very big chain. Destination Toronto, the video that I show you, actually, one of the campaign they work with Hilton Hotel. So they are advisory council for this program. So that's which means actually they will provide different kind of advice and recommendations to the course structures and curriculum. So to make sure our students or our graduate are job ready upon graduation. And also another highlight is all the skills that they learn from this program is transferable to other industry. Some counselor told me, so it's so hard to boost this program because some parents and students, they worry about, oh, maybe there's another virus coming over or any other factor that will affect the hospital and tourism management. They can't get a job anymore. But then actually from this program, they will learn sort of a lot of professional skills in like communication and management, organization, creative leadership, etc. And also there are a lot of like tech components and also upsell skills, which you can utilize all these skills in every single industry. So as what I mentioned last time, I'm here to upsell TMU, to upsell how good is TMU program and the environment in Toronto. And every day your job is upsell your students and then upsell their parents, like how good is all the advantage and benefits to study abroad, etc. So all these skills actually is applicable to every single industry upon graduation. So it's not just limited them or trap them in just one industry. So there's a lot of flexibility upon graduation. So here just a testimonial from one of our students. Because it's a new program for TMUIC, we don't have a TMUIC student yet. This is a TMU student from Cuba.
哦，那个就是先爪中。
So I chose this program because I was really interested in studying business, and I applied to all different programs in different universities, also within Toronto. And I got into most of them, but what I really liked about Ryerson is that it was still a business degree with a specialization in hospitality and tourism, so it didn't really necessarily narrow down your results at the end of your education. You could still go into different fields if you didn't decide to follow through with hospitality and tourism, but at the same time you get to follow through with hospitality and tourism and learn more about it, and I really enjoy it. It's something that I love, really like. I really enjoy my program. It's my favorite, and I'm so glad I chose it. I've met so many wonderful people. That's definitely my favorite part about it. I like how everyone is so open, so welcoming, so together. When you go into a hospitality and tourism class, you can really tell the difference between that class and a regular class at the university because everyone is just so willing to be talking to you and make a connection. And that's lovely. I really enjoy a lot of the courses that I do here at Toronto Metropolitan for my program, but the one that I most enjoyed is the marketing for hospitality and tourism. I really enjoyed that course. It was really well informed. It really taught me a lot about how to advertise hospitality and tourism destination, and I just really enjoyed it. Within my program, there seems to be a range of international and domestic. It's pretty evenly spread out, I would say. But there are definitely a lot of international students. The international students come from places like China, they come from Japan, Korea. Some of them are from Africa, like continents in Africa. There's like a whole range of people. There's people from like South Asia. There's all types of people. So I'm actually in the co-op program, and that works like you do several internships over a 4-month semester, and you do that 4 times as you're doing also studies. And one of my favorite internships that I've done is I worked last summer at Toronto Harbour Tours, which is a boat tour operator company. So they do tours around the Toronto Islands, and I was actually a tour guide and also a boat captain, which was very fun. Upon graduation, I'm not entirely certain of what I want to do, but I really do enjoy marketing. That's why I'm also taking a minor in it. And I'm also taking sales, so perhaps something to do with sales and marketing in the hospitality and tourism industry. I definitely think North America has a lot of opportunities for our major. There are so many industry or so many jobs available here. When you go through job searches, even you see so many jobs all over Canada, all over the United States as well that you could travel to, and yeah, it's a very big job market. I've actually worked for the Business Career Hub. I really think that they offer a lot of great programming for people. They offer so many networking events where you get to meet and reach out to really big companies like Aritzia, Lululemon, Dior, Questrade, Soft Choice, all these big companies and industries that you can possibly follow your path, and it doesn't necessarily have to be with hospitality and tourism. But I really like the Business Career Hub, and during my time there, I learned a lot from them, and I definitely use their programming.
Okay, so actually, the student kind of wrap up what I've been talking about, like the support program, and then at the very beginning I mentioned TM, you only got less than 10% international students, but HCM program, Hospitality and Tourism Management, actually they have 42% international students. So it's a very popular program for international students, not just domestic. So and then at the end, they also mentioned the TRSM, the Ted Rogers School of Management, which is a hospitality and tourism management is only one of the major under the business school. So TRSM actually got a business career hub. And they also mentioned, she also mentioned about the job opportunity in North America. And then she's doing a co-op program. So the co-op program, actually students will take a 4 terms off, and then they will do a full-time job. So if the students take up a co-op experience, usually it takes a little bit longer for them to complete the degree. So back to the TRSM, the business school. So just want to highlight some of the advantage to pick TMU for their business program. So they have an award-winning career hub. So they offer different kind of one-on-one career and self-discovery consultation. So just in case students get lost after the 2nd year, 3rd year, not so sure whether this is the right major for me, and what is the career prospect, what's the next step if I want to get into the get a co-op or internship experience. So they have lots of sessions that you can join, and every single consultant under the career hub, they are specialized in only one area. So say if I'm doing global management, I will go to see just one specific counselor. So they will have a lot of experience in global management or in management in general, so they can answer my question more specific because they can share their experience. So not just a group of or a bunch of generic counselor. So I know that some agency probably you will have a specific session just for Canada, for North America, and other sessions for Australia and UK. So the whole idea is for you to provide more specific, accurate, and then in-depth information for your clients. So this is one of the key highlights of the Career Hub. Of course, same as other university, I'm sure every single Career Hub will provide resume building workshop, how to write your cover letter, and how to build up your portfolio. And then they have some other service like how to pitch yourself on your LinkedIn profile. They can teach you, and then they will offer free sessions free of charge, and for taking the LinkedIn profile picture. So again, I always mention we have a close relationship with the industry. So every year we have over 300 employer events, so which means pretty much one event every day. So close to 100% students who reach out to the Business Career Hub, they will recommend to their classmate, their peer, because they feel more confidence to know their future, and then more confident and feel comfortable to plan for their career. So just to give you some highlights on the recent activity at TRSM. So L'Oreal Canada actually goes virtual and speak with our students about their summer internship opportunity in Ottawa or Quebec. And then they also talk about what is supply chain and operation industry about, what's the job about, what's the day-to-day jobs if you want to get into this industry or work for L'Oreal. So the government bodies also come in, the test agency, and then MLSE, the Maple Leaf entertainment company, is so big here in Toronto. So they have different kind of job, not just something about sports, maybe about marketing, maybe about media, PR and everything. So they also come in and speak with our students about the sports industry job opportunities. Nordstrom, the biggest North America department store here, they come in and do a networking session with our students, talk about internship and co-op opportunities, and teach students how to pitch themselves to prospective employer. So students who sign up for this session, they're not just come in and listen to the employer. They have to prepare a 15 minutes presentation and to sell themselves in front of Nordstrom employer. So they will prepare a presentation. So at the end of the presentation, Nordstrom, they will give comments to the students, say, oh, maybe you should polish your speech a little bit, maybe more highlights on this area, and then probably you can delete this part or whatever. So it's kind of like a mock-up interview. So to make sure students will to review and have the best pitch before they actually go on a real interview. So another one is the communication company. Rogers coming to do information and recruitment session. And even without those company coming on and off, we'll have like resume and cover letter workshop. And then for final year students, maybe they're ready for the full-time job. So they have a little bit concern, or they still have some questions, some doubt. They can sign up a one-on-one 30 minutes consultations to review their resume or review their cover letter, and we'll talk about how to have a better job search strategies, so they can give them more insights on, or maybe based on your strength and your weakness, maybe you should focus on this area, or based on your result, maybe this kind of job is better for you. So this all can help students to prepare for their future. And then I would say the service is pretty comprehensive, to be honest. So as well as say, student will pick one major, right? And maybe one minor, but sometimes they just want to learn some soft skills for short terms of period, maybe just to attend some workshop for 3 or 4 hours, or maybe 3 or 4 hours times 3 or 4 workshops, something like that. So actually TRSM offer boot camps for students. Students can sign up any of the boot camps they like. So say if I'm doing maybe entrepreneurship, but at the same time I'm interested in doing something to know something about graphic design or social media marketing, or about Power BI, or I want to be an expert in Excel, they can sign to these workshop, and then they at the end they may go into competitions or finish a project, and then we will issue that digital badge which can link to their LinkedIn profile at the end of the day. So it's kind of like bridge the gap between the curriculum, say I'm doing global management or entrepreneurship, but then the market needs me to know more about CRM or about design or social media, so I can learn all these skill sets through this bootcamp for free. Here, just to give you some ideas of some featured company that recently came to TRSM and provide different kind of information and mingle with our students, including Louis Vuitton, Adidas, KPMG, Canadian top 5 bank, tech company, CPA Canada, etc. And also TRSM got a job search engine just specific for TRSM students. They serve as current TRSM student and also their alumni. So which means students graduate from TMU after 1 year or 2 years, they still can come back and access to all these facilities. So on the top left corner, you can see the magnet, which is the job search engine. So I'm sure that Taiwan also got some job search engine that when you're looking for new job, definitely you will go up and search for it. But this one is only catered for TMU, TRSM students. So which means, say CPA Canada want to hire TMU graduate, they can just post their vacancy on our platform. So students can do their direct applications through the magnet. So here's just an overview on those programs that we can articulate. So from the UTP's 2 in business management program, we can articulate into these 7 major. And the UTP stage 2 in hospitality and tourism management only can articulate into hospitality and tourism management program, because the year 1 will be slightly different. So that's why we have 2 separate programs. But all these major are under TRSM. So I just mentioned at the very beginning, we also got a new program, which is under art school. So from our current UTP stage 2 in arts, they can progress into language and intercultural relations. So if you come across any students who want to learn foreign language, so either French or Spanish, or they want to learn something about translation, this is the program for them. So there are 2 streams. Students can pick either French or Spanish, so they will learn a foreign language. So we can accept beginner. So even you don't know anything about French or Spanish, you can still go into this program. They will have assessment, but according to our students, they just click one question and then leave the rest blank. They will still accept you in this program, but just limited the choices of the courses because some of the courses is more advanced level in terms of the language. So maybe it is not available for you at the very beginning. Once you brush up your language skills, then you can pick an advanced level program. So, and also students have to pick a concentration, either from organizational behavior, translations, or language. So, and then the year 3 students will study abroad. So they will spend a year overseas, either in France or in Spain, and then they're working with a new partner in Mexico as well. So here, just give you some idea on the concentration, what's that about. So once you pick the language, you can see there are some core courses that everyone has to do. Maybe in English, maybe in French or Spanish, but then based on their stream, the French and Spanish stream, they will have a specific area that they have to learn. Say if I pick French stream and then I pick organizational behavior as my concentration, I will learn communications and business French or introductions to business French. But then if I learn Spanish, I will learn something about Spanish. And then the other one is the language thing. So it's more about language acquisitions, language learning, communications, pronunciation, and then something about literature. So there's another one that probably is interesting. And if they want to be linguists or whatever after that, I think this is a good choice. I think translation will be the most popular one. So they can learn from English, French translation and vice versa, or English, Spanish and vice versa as well. So this is the 3 concentration. Again, I don't see there's a big market for Taiwanese students, but I think maybe there will be 1 or 2 students interested in doing translation and foreign language, so they can combine everything in just this program. So this is just under our current UTP Stage 2 program in ours. So just to fresh up your memory on our progressions requirement. So from our stage 1 to stage 2, we require our requirement is set under percentage scale. So arts program is 60%, IEF is and the rest is 65%. Once they complete their stage 2, which is equivalent to TMU year 1, we count on GPA system. So this is this GPA system is same as TMU scale. So for arts programs, say the language program, sociology, politics, they only need a pass. Psychology, even though it's still under the arts, but they require 3.0. IEF 2.67, same as hospitality and tourism management. Business management 2.8, and creative industry and professional communication, I put minimum 2.8. So for these 2 program, we don't have admission quota. So we can accept like 50 students, 100 students, 200 students. But at the end of the day, we can only progress the top 30 students into each program. So which means student has to get a competitive GPA. The minimum is 2.8. And then just to remind you guys that if the students got accepted into our stage 1 foundation program, so which is an 8 months program, but then after the first semester, if they can achieve 70% across 4 academic subjects, they can skip the second half of the stage 1 and then progress to stage 2. So which means if the students come in after year 11, it only takes them a year and a half before they can progress to second year. So it applies to everyone who got accepted into our stage 1 foundation. So as long as they can do well in the first semester, they can save 4-month course fee and also 4-month accommodation fee. And it's a fast track options for all foundation students. So here, just to show you the entry requirement. So, so for the stage 2 program, besides the international economics and finance program, which is a very numbers and data driven program, so we have a specific mathematics requirement. The rest of the program are just categorized as a standard entry requirement as senior high school year 3 C average of 65% across 4 academic subjects. I think most of the Taiwanese students can get it based on my experience. For stage 1 students, either they are from grade 11, got 70% average across 4 academic subjects, or they also complete year 3 or year 12, but then their academic is not yet reached 65, they can redo the foundation. They can come to do the foundation first, and then usually they will do well in the first semester. And if they got 70%, they can jump to stage 2. Otherwise, they just stay to the end and then achieve the required percentage and progress to stage 2 after 8 months. So that's the academic requirement. So we accept a wide range of English requirement as well, IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo, and then if anyone sitting for O-level or IB, we also accept. And also we have our internal Pearson version test as well. So you can organize with the regional office. And then just a reminder that we're still offering the exclusive admission scholarship for this fall intake. So the deadline is May 31st. So we have already got a few Taiwanese students already got the scholarship letter. So once we issue the scholarship letter, they usually have to pay within 10 to 15 days. So if you come across any student, maybe they missed the deadline of the scholarship application, please email me. Or you just say they applied and say, oh, probably they can't pay within 10 days. Can you give 15 days or 20 days? Please let me know. Maybe we can modify the date a little bit and give them some flexibility. So it's very straightforward. Only have to submit a personal statement, put down their name and student ID, which is shown on the offer, to explain why they picked that specific major or why they choose to come to TMUIC in Toronto. Usually, Taiwanese students, whoever send in the scholarship statement, I would give them 1,500 scholarship. So if they need extra 500 or some special requests, again, please approach us, and then we will see what we can help. So this is the overview and the highlights for today, and I will pass the time to Jennifer. Sorry about that, because I've been going through this presentation for 3 times today. This is the last one before I go to bed. Because so hopefully the content is still okay, but so tired to talk about the same presentation. But thank you for joining us. I'm so glad to see everyone, and hopefully I can see you guys in person. Yeah.
OK， 那谢谢 Sandra 讲的非常非常的详细。那我们还有8分钟左右，那有没有人有问题呢？就是可以打在那个 chat box 里面。假如说就是针对刚刚任何一个点、任何一个部分，如果有问题的话，就是欢迎大家询问。Sandra, I have a question.
Yep.
A while ago, you were talking about how we might have an engineering pathway.
Yep.
So how is that?
Okay. So yeah, thanks for bringing this up. So actually, for this September, we only got this new program confirmed. But hopefully next year we will have the actually it's on the pipeline, engineering and something about science. And likely in January, we'll have financial mathematics. And then September, we will have engineering and other science program like biomedical science and then generic science program, and then many more. Yeah.
So this September probably won't have it, but so engineering, we might have to wait until next September. So September 2024.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So because they're so strict in terms of entry requirements, so I don't think that we will have enough time to push the market. If I just let you know in May, we say I need like 10 applications from Taiwan or 5 payments, I think it's impossible, because I think it takes time for council to introduce the program. So that's why we defer to next year. So just to make sure everything is on track before we announce. So this year, hopefully we can just focus on what we have. But just bear in mind, as what I say, we still got the minor option. So I remember I mentioned last time, sometimes council told me, oh, I can't promote TMUIC because you don't have this program and that program. But just bear in mind that summer program probably they can take along as a minor instead of as a major. So yeah, to take a look of the minor list, I can share with you guys if you want. Yeah. So the scholarship is just for TMUICs, we only offer that admission scholarship, which is like before they come in, I can confirm I give 1,500. But once they it is just based on the personal statement. So of course I can't be too bad. At least I got a reasonable a passage length, and then English can't be too is understandable. Usually I would give them 1,500 as a bursary or incentive. Once they started with us, actually every semester we will have different kind of scholarship, like high distinctions, social engagement, and different kind of scholarship. Those scholarship are automatic. So if you're qualified, you will be informed, and then you will get some small amount of money, maybe 250 to 1,000. That's what I understand. Yeah. So hopefully I answered Harry's questions, and here is
dormitory. I think he asked, is the dormitory guaranteed?
No guarantee. So for TMU, because we are a urban campus, so that's why even TMU they only got 1,200 beds for the whole university. So actually they partner with a lot of private residents in downtown Toronto. So most of them are within like 5 minutes to 15 minutes walking distance. Some maybe 3 or 4 bus stop away. So it's still very convenient. Most of our students are staying at those private residents. So if you guys also work for Australia, you know that there is an urban nest, those things. So that's the private residence look like. So we have several options on our website. So I can share the link in a minute. So they have to apply on their own. Some of them actually include meal plans, some actually not. Most of them single room, but then you share your washroom and the living room with other students, maybe dual room or 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom options. Yeah, but always within walking distance, most of them. So either private residence, or some of them they will pick homestay, or some of them they will go for short-term accommodation and look for private rental. But I can tell you private rental is quite difficult sometimes because summer is very busy. Yeah, and it's very competitive in downtown Toronto. So I highly recommend Taiwanese students to go for those residents first, but then I'll recommend them to confirm, apply, and pay the deposit to the residents by probably mid of June. Otherwise, the room will be gone very quickly. Yeah. Because most of the country students, they will accept the offer for fall, maybe around July. So when the time you make up your mind, then all rooms are gone.
So do you know how much the deposit usually is?
Every single accommodation is different, but I probably can maybe share one with you guys by email. I can share with you, Jennifer, maybe, then you can share with them. So I know that they only pay 500. Some of them only pay 500 or 1,000 as a deposit, but of course, by before maybe a month or before you move in, then they probably need the first term like payment. Yeah, but the deposit to secure room is so little. Yeah.
One last question from me. So, for students entering Canada, is there any COVID restrictions at all? Like, do you need to provide vaccine proof? Anything like that? No, right? Okay. So now it's all fine now. Back to normal.
Yeah. And no one wear masks actually. But I still wear a mask when I go on train because it's quite packed. But on campus and then around city, not many students or people actually wearing masks anymore. So it's very straightforward. So for Harry, I saw another questions. Sorry.
No, that's the dormitory one, right?
Yeah. And then there's another questions about can student be admitted if the grades are below 65? So from the PowerPoint, if they are from year 3, I mean high school completion, and then they only got 65 below, they have to start from foundation first. So minimum is 65 across 4 academic subjects in order to come to join our stage 2 program. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think most of the Taiwanese students, they can get into stage 2. We don't get a lot of students do foundation.
Oh, there are some
Really?
students who don't. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I can see this year actually Taiwan's application is going pretty good, and we got more early payments actually, which is surprised that usually they will leave until they get the final result. So hopefully, like counselor here today can spread the word out, say encourage them to apply and accept earlier, because now the public servant is on strike again, so the visa probably will be a little bit delayed, which means they are starting to build up some backlog again.
Okay, that's good.
So
yeah,
we just got some news yesterday, so which is not good for us, but we don't know how long does it take, and then how many backlogs actually they're going to accumulate, because during the pandemic is really like crazy, right? But now recently I heard that most of the agents, they get, I mean, the students can get a visa within like 4 to 5 weeks. So hopefully after the strike, it won't be too bad. But if you already got some application in your pipeline or anyone interested, encourage them to apply ASAP, and we can accept conditional acceptance. So even they're waiting for the final result, waiting for the IELTS, that's okay. They can still pay. But of course, we have to make it clear, if you don't make it for stage 2, then we will release your transcript and see whether you're qualified for foundation. So, but then again, you mentioned only 4 months if they do well. So it's not a retake, but it's just a second chance for them to prove themselves that they are capable to cope with like year 1 studies. So yeah, I think I'm happy with Taiwan this year, because January is working so hard for us, but hopefully all these webinar and updates and give you guys more ideas about how good is TMUIC. And of course, if they come, I still stay in touch with most of the Taiwanese students. So from time to time we catch up for coffee, and then or catch up for a check on campus to make sure they're okay. So you can tell their parents, and they got someone to look after them when they're in Toronto. And we have a very good advising team as well. So in terms of academic, welfare, security, accommodation, they always can get advice from time to time, no matter it's in person, or even they can, some of the students are very lazy and just want to stay home all the time. They can just like click on the virtual Zoom link every day. It's available every day for an hour or an hour and a half. They can get in touch with our advisor. So it's a very good service. So here's my email, just in case I don't send you email before. I haven't sent you email before. Usually most of the communication, I prefer to go through the regional office, because they got the most updated counselor list. But yeah, do drop me an email if you need any specific information. I'm happy to share more. And I think that's all, right?
Yes, let me